Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Hollywood After Dark. Today is the 21st of November, 2022, and we finally got tickets on sale for Avatar: The Way of Water, a final trailer which leaves me scratching my head. What the fuck is this movie even about? And James Cameron might be feeling the exact same way. Talking about Black Adam going to digital and why that's a big oof for the hierarchy of power over there at the DCU. And of course, some more Indy 5 news. Hollywood After Dark, folks. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. It is, of course, another day, which means probably another episode of Hollywood After Dark. There's a lot going on in Hollywood. You figure last night was massive, right? Last night was crazy with that whole Bob Iger, Bob Chapek situation. There's been some more news coming out today. And here, I'll just be, spoiler alert, I'm not actually going to cover any of it. Mostly because I have two sick children. I myself am not feeling very well. This will be a bit shorter of an episode, and there was a lot to kind of sift through. But from what I could gather, from what I could piece together based upon the doom scrolling on Twitter that I like to do, is that Bob Chapek had lost the confidence of the board and of the employees, at least the higher up executives, and that there was a potential coup that was taking place behind the scenes. One, I think it was her CFO, had gone to the board to basically like go, hey, you got to get rid of this guy. And from what I had read, and maybe I'm wrong, so someone out there will probably correct me if I am, but the CFO was effectively being set up to be the fall gal for this whole bad stock, bad quarter, bad earnings call situation. And she was like, F that, I ain't taking the fall for your shit. And she bounced out and ended up getting Bob Iger called at 3 p.m. on a Friday to ask if he was going to take this. And he chose to do it over the course of, lower compensation, but he's doing it to protect his stock price. What's that mean going forward? Disney Animation is going to be having a big yay and whatever over this. And obviously, we're not going to get anything out of Chapek for a while, but the stories will trickle out. And when the stories do trickle out and the exposés are written, because believe me, folks, they are furiously typing them right now at Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and Variety. And when that finally does happen, we will be able to break it down and discuss it. But tonight, oh lordy, tonight, we are going to be talking about Avatar: The Way of Water, because the final trailer dropped, and I'm not going to lie, as much as I am, as much as I am excited to see this movie, there's elements of it that aren't really getting me. All right. There's elements of it that aren't really getting me. It's funny here. Spherical Man says it's pronounced Igor. I didn't do a review on it yet. For Patio commentary, which I'll get to that here in a quick sec. But I did watch Paws of Fury and the Legend of Hank, or whatever that's called, that Nickelodeon Movies animated film that came out this last summer that none of you saw. I'm here to tell you right now, if you are a Mel Brooks fan, watch that fucking movie. Not only is Mel Brooks in it, he is an executive producer, and he even got a story by credit. And so did Richard Pryor. Now, again, I'm not going to tell you why. But I really recommend it. I do. Surprisingly, it cracked me up. The whole movie was really funny. Check that out. Paws of Fury. I know I'm saying that, right? It's kind of crazy. Here, Music Maker says, I love Mel, but no. Trust me. The movie was originally called Blazing Samurais for a reason. All right? Trust me. I'm not going to say anything more on that one, but let us dump in. Let us jump in here. What service is it on? It's on Paramount Plus. Yeah, it is on Paramount. My girlfriend wanted to watch it because we were at the store the other day and she saw it on a Redbox and was like, oh, what's that movie? And I'm like, oh, it's an animated film. So she's like, oh, let's check it out. So we checked it out. And it was actually pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. I laughed my ass off all the way through. There's so many little sight gags in that movie, so many little things you would expect from a parody film. I mean, like, the movie is so self-aware. It's something that, like, I just, again, if you aren't a bitter, cynical person, you might find yourself enjoying it. That's like I say about that one. Anyway, let's keep going. All right. Remember, guys, if you want to support the show, best way to do that is patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. A great way to help out. A lot of you guys have been becoming channel members. I already see that there is a super chat here tonight, which we will be getting to when we get to the Avatar stuff. So thank you for that, Shogun. But if you guys do want to help things keep moving forward, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo is the best way to do that. Also check out Podio Commentary, youtube.com/Podio Commentary. My review of Spirited is up. I will be reviewing the Paws of Fury, as well as, again, figuring out long form conversations. I could, if only my kids would stop getting sick and my entire life gets derailed, I could sit down and format this. This is a big problem. It's winter season, you know, but we got the week off. We'll see what we're able to figure out as we go through that. But anyway, youtube.com, Podio Commentary. Thank you guys very much for that. So, all right, Avatar. Let's talk about Avatar. Avatar is now back on Disney Plus. So the remastered version, what they put out a couple months ago, that actually did pretty well. $13 million has in fact grossed. It did well for that. It was off Disney Plus. They did that in order to get you back, to get you to go see it. But now you can go watch it again on Disney Plus as you wait to buy your tickets for for Avatar: The Way of Water. All right, Shogun here for 5. Thank you very much, Shogun. Says, I got the gist. Avatar 2 is going to be like the first one, but, bigger. Well, we're going to get to that here in a second. I have the trailer queued up, a couple little tidbits, though, but it is going to be like the first one, I think, but bigger in scope and scale, and there's an article to kind of back that up a little bit. But anyway, moving on. Avatar. All right, I got my slides all screwed up tonight. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right, so here is the trailer. This is the poster. Let's check out the trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water, because I watched it. It didn't really grab me. But maybe watching it again with you guys will definitely get me in the mood, maybe.
Why do you come to us?
I just want to keep my family safe.
Treat them as our brothers and sisters. Teach them our ways.
Keep up, Forest Boy! If you want to live here, you have to ride. Let's do it.
Just breathe. Breathe.
Outcasts, that's all they see.
I see.
I'm a warrior like you. I'm supposed to fight.
Protect the people.
Let's get it done.
Avatar: The Way of Water. Experience it in 3D. Only in theaters, December 16th.
I'll tell you, I mean, okay, so look, I'm not saying it looks bad. It actually looks really good. I want to see it. I am emotionally invested into these characters. That being said, what I would like out of a trailer is not to show me everything, because I really hate when trailers do that, even though largely a lot of people out there enjoy when trailers do that. But for me personally, I would like there to be a little bit more of the story, right? But we're going to get to that here because you can get your tickets for the showing. And again, I know maybe I'm an old curmudgeon, but I'm also, a frugal individual. So they put out a new IMAX poster, and I went to go look up IMAX ticket prices at my local Regal, right here in Olympia, Washington, where, again, we're a small town. It's a small area. And the tickets to see this movie in 3D IMAX are $24 a ticket. $24 for one ticket to see this movie. I ain't paying that. I made the choice. I am not paying that. But I actually am going to go see it in Cinemark XD with my dad. I'll take my dad to go see it up there. I'm just not going to, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm just not going to, $24 right now for one freaking, move. It's just, I can't do it. And look, I understand Avatar is about the experience, right? I understand Avatar is about the movie. It's about the world. It's about what Cameron created. And I want that. I'm a big Cameron fan. Okay. But you gotta, like, this is the problem with the theaters. I understand they're hurting. All right. Here's the thing. Jess says that sounds reasonable for IMAX. No, it doesn't. I paid $12 to see the first Avatar in 3D IMAX in 2009. Okay. I spent $45 for 2 tickets to go see Avatar Remastered 2 months ago. Okay. This is going to cost me more than that. It's a great looking poster, Jay. It's absolutely a great looking poster, but we can't sit there and argue that this is reasonable prices. Reasonable prices. They're not reasonable prices anymore. I agree. That's a joke I made on Twitter. I said, inflation's a bitch, but Jesus Christ, does it have to be $24? All right. $24. Now, Spherical Manor says, but Matt, if you don't spend the money, they won't make any more. That's actually like relatively accurate. And again, we're going to talk about that. John here says IMAX is supposed to be a $6 upcharge. No, it's supposed to be like a $3 upcharge originally, but they keep adding in more, adding in more, adding in more. And it's just kind of ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like, this is where, well, here's the thing. RJ's right. He says inflation is a real thing and the theaters need the revenue. It sucks though. This is really expensive. Thank God I have AMC A-list. That's what they want. They want that, right? They want you to get those subscription services. They obviously are pushing for that. This price is for the normies that don't have that just yet. But I have the Cinemark membership, and I have enough saved up tickets to where the nearest Cinemark XD is up in Tacoma. It's about 35-minute drive. My dad is going to go with me. I've already bought tickets. And, if the movie, if it wows me in Cinemark XD, I might then pay the money to go back and watch this in the 3D IMAX. But this particular 3D IMAX theater is not the best theater. It's really not. It is a faux IMAX. Everything else, I get all that stuff. It is just not what I'm into. I'm sorry. Like, it's just taking, like, I'm a movie guy. I love going to the movies. But this shit right here is getting ready to ruin the fucking experience, but, and I'm seeing it in Cinemark XD, but I'm saying, like, this is one of those things that comes across as being irrational to charge that much. Right. Nathan here says the price at my local AMC IMAX is $14.50 plus tax. Exactly. This is a Regal, but I fucking hate Regal. Right. But let's see. Garrick says the problem is that there aren't even movies to justify subscribing to a service right now. I mean, yeah, there is. There's smaller movies, but the horror ones will kind of where it makes up for it. Ralph's Double Tits here says no Avatar 3. No, Avatar 3 is in the can. Avatar 3 is going to be coming out. They will definitely be making Avatar 3, 4, and 5. Those are coming. Don't make any mistake. Those movies are absolutely coming. You have to just remember that there's a FOMO aspect of this, but we're going to get to that. So moving on, James Cameron had a weird interview with GQ magazine where he says that the idea for Avatar came to him in a dream, saying, I have my own private streaming service that's better than any of the shit out there, and it runs every night for free. I have to give him I have to give him props for saying that, to be fair, because that's kind of funny, right? Where he's like, I have my own service. This is where I come up with all my dreams. I don't need to watch anything else, and I get all that. But he also goes on to say here, I woke up after dreaming of this kind of bioluminescent forest with these trees that look like a fiber optic lamp. I woke up super excited and I actually drew it. I was 19. And what that reminds me of, guys, what that really reminds me of is Luc Besson, when he was talking about when he came up with the idea for the Fifth Element. He came up for the Fifth Element with like, I think when he was like 16, 15 or 16 or whatever, he wrote the idea. And you can tell it's heavily inspired by Valerian. He's a huge Valerian fan. So it's one of those scenarios where it's like people have these ideas when they're younger. And obviously the technology didn't catch up to Cameron at the time, but there is no denying that Cameron is a visionary genius. Whenever he sets his mind to something, we get something amazing. Blessing here says, I want whatever drugs he's on. Hell yeah. I would like that. You know, and let's see, Jay here says, I had to see IMAX paying a ticket for $20 for AMC when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. It was worth it. No. I don't hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like I there's a lot of good in that movie. There's also a lot of bad, but that was not worth $20 in IMAX, man. That is, I'm just telling you right now, that's like not worth $20 in IMAX. Not right there. But the thing is, though, Jay here says that shot right there has new equipment. This looks really good and visible for me. Yeah. I'm saying what I believe is like, you could probably enjoy Avatar, The Way of Water, Avatar 3, and even the new Avatar, the remastered Avatar, probably without needing to see it in 3D. It's just for more of an immersive experience. But that's the whole thing. Like I'm going to go see it in the Cinemark XD. I've got my first day tickets already purchased because of the subscription service that I already have. It only cost me like $11 more to get 2 tickets. So that wasn't bad at all. I was actually okay with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing, because I'm going to the same theater I saw the Rings of Power in. And there's that. Oh, Garrick here says, I watched The Predator in IMAX, wasted my money. Boy, that hurt. Still haven't seen The Predator. But yeah, sometimes that can really, really, really hurt you if the movie doesn't live up to your expectations. So again, moving on, I just want to ask, what the fuck is this movie about? Like the story, RJ said what he thinks it is. RJ says, you know, thinks that like, obviously the people are returning, the humans are returning. It's been a number of years. They have to then fight back, all that stuff. Obviously that is the base story. But then I looked it up on Google. This is a Google synopsis here. Jake Sully and Neytiri have formed a family and are doing everything to stay together. However, they must leave their home and explore the regions of Pandora. When an ancient threat resurfaces, Jake must fight a difficult war against the humans. Now, explain to me how an ancient threat resurfaces. Like, is that ancient threat? Is it the humans? Because let's be fair, there's going to end up being conflict with another tribe. There's going to be a conflict like that's going to drive them from the forest to the water tribes. But there's also going to have to be like, there's going to be your A plot, your B plot, right? So your A plot and your B plot are going to be a big factor here. And that's going to be kind of weird how this whole thing is going to play out. I don't quite know. Garrick here says Vin Diesel is in Avatar 2 and it's about family. It is. Ralph here asking, but why do they live in the water now? I again, probably because something drives them from the forest back to the water and they need to seek refuge with another tribe, which tells me that the humans have returned. The humans are hunting Jake Sully and Neytiri specifically because that's their target. If they can eliminate them, if they can eliminate the leaders, they can eliminate like the spark of hope. They can smack down any kind of resistance, any kind of rebellion that happened. And then of course, Buzzing here makes a great point. The white man that died in the movie is coming back. We still don't know. We still don't know why Quaritch is coming back. You know, we still don't know why he's coming back yet. And I mean, again, like that's something that's going to be there and we're going to see it when it happens, definitely. But let's talk about Avatar in regards to the amount of money that it has to make. This is coming in from the Hollywood Reporter. Oh, no, sorry, from Variety. It says Avatar 2 is so expensive, it must become the 4th or 5th highest grossing film in history just to break even. It's such an expensive movie that they need. Now, what you guys have to remember probably is that this also is a movie that they bundled 2 and 3 together, right? They bundled 2 and 3 together. So obviously it's going to have to be very expensive, but this is what the article says. How expensive is Avatar: The Way of Water? Earlier reports have claimed The production budget alone was in the $250 million range, but director James Cameron isn't willing to give a hard number just yet. The only answer Cameron would give about the sequel's budget when asked by GQ magazine was the following: "It's very fucking expensive." Yeah. Cameron apparently told Disney and 20th Century Studio executives that his sequel budget was so high, it represented the worst business case in movie history. According to the director's estimates, you have to be the third or fourth highest grossing film in history. That's your threshold. That's your break even. How have we gotten to this? And now you know why they're charging $24 for an IMAX ticket, right? You know, and they're going to be pushing the whole thing about, see this in the biggest possible format, the way movies are meant to be seen, if not, then you're a dirty cuck. You don't like, they're going to try that, right? They're going to absolutely try that. They're going to try that. Anyway, the article goes on. On the current chart of the highest grossing movies worldwide, unadjusted for inflation, because we never adjust for inflation unless you're a fucking moron, Cameron's original 2009 Avatar ranks at the top with $2.9 billion. And Endgame is in second position with $2.7 billion. They screwed up there. While Cameron's Titanic remains in the third slot with $2.1 billion. That means, according to Cameron, that if Avatar: The Way of Water wants to break even, it will either need to overtake Star Wars: The Force Awakens or Avengers: Infinity War in the fourth or fifth slots, respectively. Which means if it's good, it can get up there. If it's good and people are excited to go back to it coming into the holiday season, it's going to do real well. Blessing here with a great point. They're going to guilt trip you during a recession. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, right? Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Only 5 movies ever crossed the 2 billion mark worldwide, unadjusted for inflation. Why they keep bringing that up is absolutely beyond me. We never use that as a metric. While the pandemic has affected moviegoing, films like Spider-Man No Way Home, $1.9 billion, and Top Gun Maverick, $1.4 billion, have managed to turn huge profits. So there's hope for Way of Water. Way of Water will also do very, very, very well in regards to home video sales. And I think even maybe some merch. Now, JP here says also the IMAX 3D is so freaking dark. But the way that they shot the underwater stuff here is going to be really bright, really vibrant, the exact opposite to what Black Panther was. So obviously, I think it's going to be okay. So now Anthony here says, Matt, isn't Avatar 2 going to China? I have no idea if it's going to China. I have absolutely no freaking idea if it's going there or not. But what I think is happening is that Bob Iger is going to smooth things over with the Chinese regulators because he's got a good working relationship with them. Bob Chapek, not to say that they don't probably like Bob Chapek. I have no freaking idea, but he hasn't been able to maintain that great of a relationship with China. A lot of the movies haven't gone there. And the ones that have gone there haven't done very well. But I think Bob Iger will be able to dive in specifically and work on something with them to get them to come on in. Right. So as a result of that, I do think it will go to China. I just do not know when it will go to China. That's just my thing on that. I have literally no idea what's going to happen. But when I think about the prospects of Avatar 2, when I think about where things are going to go, when I think about how well it's going to do, I have no doubt in my mind, right? I have no doubt in my mind where it's going to do well. All right. Ashley Taylor, that's not true. People do buy physical media, but people buy physical DVDs are still outselling Blu-rays and 4Ks. But because of the spectacle that will be Avatar, it will do well on Blu-ray and 4K. Right? So there's that. Yes, Plushy here says very few can get into China. That's very true. But again, you have someone who's very good at the diplomacy of navigating with other foreign leaders like Bob Iger is. There's a reason why he was floating the idea to run for president, because the guy is very diplomatic. He's very savvy and can operate in those particular fields. I feel that it's going to go to China and China is going to give it a lot of money. But what you guys have to understand as well is that the Chinese box office, and I talked about this with RJ last night, the Chinese box office only provides roughly 25% of that revenue back to the company. So if, if Avatar 2 does what, like 500 million, let's say, in China, which is a high number, but let's just give it around about 500 million in China, 25% of that is going to go to Disney, which means they only get 125 million out of that 500 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a revenue stream, but it's definitely not going to, like, raise the roof on regards to profit. The profit will definitely come through the ancillary market. It will come through the home video sales. It will come through a lot, especially pushing it towards Disney Plus. But I don't think it's going to be on Disney Plus in 45 days. And I don't think that they're going to let you forget about this movie. So, it's absolutely going to be very interesting. Taylor asking, will it get a 3D Blu-ray? Does anything get a 3D Blu-ray anymore? No, they do not. So, Carrick here says, DVDs, imagine watching something in standard quality in 2022. Is this the dark ages? The reason why DVDs sell so well in America, Garrick, and I mentioned this last night, has a lot to do with our infrastructure for broadband. We don't have it better than DSL in a lot of areas. High-speed broadband internet is not something that is accessible in every part of this country. And as we invest into that, as we invest into fiber, and as we get broadband, expand 5G coverage, expand all of those things, then more people will be able to have access to high speed. But in the meantime, the people who buy them, they do buy them because, yeah, Ryan here is correct. DVDs are also cheaper. Not by much, though. Not by much. I was at like the store and I saw like Bullet Train and like Top Gun Maverick. They have little kiosks for those. And it's like the DVD of those, $20. The Blu-ray, $25. The 4K is like $30. But the 4K also gives you the Blu-ray and the DVD or the digital or whatever. And it's like, all right. But now even DVDs are coming packaged with the digital copy. So if you just want it digital, like all right, who the fuck cares about getting the higher quality version of it on disc if you're just going to get it on digital? So there's other reasons for that as well. Ralph here asking, what's wrong with DVDs? Nothing's wrong with DVDs, but we've also kind of moved past them in regards to quality. I think like there's that. JP here says Blu-ray requires a Blu-ray player as well. And believe it or not, JP, if you happen to have a 4K television, you actually have to have a 4K Blu-ray player in order to even play Blu-rays at the appropriate resolution. Otherwise, they look like ass. So there's a lot of problems with that. Like the home video market has absolutely been pushing streaming for quite some time. So, it is that. Now, John here says his eyes have myopic astigmatism, so it's all the same. I mean, sure. That sucks for you, man. But, I get that. Rational here says, with Starlink, you can get high-speed satellite internet anywhere in the U.S. What exactly qualifies, though, as high-speed? That's the question. Garrick says we need to bring back Betamax as well as Laserdisc. Yes, let's go back to the 80s. Actually, it's funny you say that. It's a fantastic segue because let's go back to the 80s. Let's talk about Indiana Jones again, right? This is a movie I'm looking forward to. This is a movie I really want to see. And we got a little bit more information coming out today. We did get the report coming out from an Empire interview. Indiana Jones 5 director James Mangold reveals Harrison Ford was de-aged to look like the original trilogy. Now, Harrison Ford is like 80. And when they shot the first Raiders, when they shot the first Indiana Jones movie back in 1980, he was like 37, 38 years old, So there's definitely a situation there where what you're looking at is they got to do a lot of work on that. And I don't know how well the de-aging technology, after the whole Shamook Luke Skywalker thing, I mean, they are clearly wanting to kind of roll this out. So going on, the article says, when moviegoers head to theaters to experience Indiana Jones 5, they will see a de-aged Harrison Ford. According to James Mangold, the fifth installment of the entitled film has an opening sequence that will take place in the years depicted between The Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls, which to me kind of says, to be fair, that like they're going into the World War II territory. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? I think it makes a lot of sense that they're going into the World War II territory, as we saw referenced several times in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So Mangold says, I wanted the chance to dive into this kind of full-on George and Stephen old picture and give the audience an adrenaline blast. And then we fall out and you find yourself in 1969 so that the audience doesn't experience the change between the 40s and the 60s as an intellectual conceit, but literally experiences the buccaneering spirit of those early days and the beginning of now, which, I mean, obviously that's going to lead into the plot, right? That's going to lead into the MacGuffin and everything else. So going on to Ford, who is 80 years old, shot for the film that will be matched with archival material of his younger self using computer software. The original jacket that Ford wore in Raiders was also pulled out of storage and replicated for the new film. That's crazy, dude. That's absolutely crazy. They say here, according to Kathleen, my hope is that although it will be talked about in terms of technology, you just watch it and go, oh my God, they just found footage. This is the thing that was shot 40 years ago, dropping you into an adventure, something Indy is looking for. And instantly you have that feeling. I am in an Indiana Jones movie. I can't wait for that feeling. Really cannot wait for that feeling. I'm super excited for that because I love Indiana Jones. It's my favorite movie is Raiders. I just love it. For Ford, seeing himself de-aged in a brand new film is a little spooky and doesn't want to know how it works, he added. This is the first time I've seen it where I believe it. However, despite seeing himself young again, Ford says he doesn't want to be that age again, saying, I had to have earned my age. It's going robotic. I can't do crap about it. I'll give it a second to kind of, but, it's fucking StreamYard. It's StreamYard. All right, that should be better now. So Ford here obviously is in a position to where he is, he's earned his age. He feels okay with that. And, but he's seeing himself de-age, calls it a little spooky. All right. And look, here's the thing. I found this. So the image on the left here is Harrison Ford. That is a shot from the leaked trailer at a D23. And then we can see here that he's got the black dots on his face for the de-aging technology in regards for all of that, right? So there's a lot that they're talking about. Like there's going to do a lot of visual effects. I mean, look, Harrison Ford is getting up there in years. They are going to have to do a little bit. They are going to have to, play with it a little bit more. But the de-aging technology is something that they've been heavily working on, the deep fake stuff, all that stuff, to the point of where like Harrison Ford could absolutely just sell his likeness and voice to Disney, like James Earl Jones did. Like a lot of other actors are going to do. They're going to take that payout because that payout will still then help their family as the time gets older. So there's a lot going on with that. Now, Jay here says, Kathleen Kennedy better hope Indiana Jones 5 turns out good. And keep an eye out for those chuds in Midnight's Edge at the embarrassment. Are they already calling for a boycott of Indiana Jones 5? Oh my God. Those fucking guys, dude. I swear to God. They're just like, oh my Jesus. Oh my God. It's got a woman or a minority in it. Apparently it's going to be bad. Well, this was actually put out today as well. The Empire put out a new image showing Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character and Indy. And it's got a lot of people curious again about what her character is going to be, exactly what it is. Now, according to 4chan, there's been some more leaks that Rational has sent me because he's up on this stuff. I don't know. But here's what this one says, I guess kind of spoilers. So the film begins in 1969. Indy is getting old and slowly giving up on archaeology after his son Mutt Williams dies in the Vietnam War. That's the first time we've heard about Mutt dying in Vietnam, which would mean that that's the end of his lineage. Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, Helena, is a goddaughter of Indy. Helena goes to Indy to help her on a search for an artifact that can manipulate time, yet Indy isn't interested. He finds out that an ex-Nazi named Voller, who works for NASA, is also looking for the artifact. This causes Indy to change his mind and help Helena on her search. Voller successfully finds the artifact and uses it to go back in time to 1936. Indy and Helena chase him last minute and get teleported to 1936. Voller wants to help the Germans win World War II by killing Indy and finding the Ark, Voller is successful in killing the 1936 Indy, which causes future Indy to disappear. Voller uses the artifact to send Helena back to the present. The present is all messed up due to Voller messing up the past. Helena searched for the creator, played by Antonio Banderas. The creator is a quantum physicist that created the artifact. What? The creator helps Helena make a duplicate artifact and sends Helena back in time. She successfully stops Voller. Helena goes back to the present. The creator tells Helena since 1936 Indy died, things have changed and someone must do all the accomplishments Indy did. The ending montage shows Helena going through the Okay, we saw this the other day. We saw this the other day. And if that is God, that's fucking terrible. All right. That's absolutely terrible. King of Golden State here says, maybe I missed it, but is there going to be an actual title to Indiana Jones 5? We're going to find that out before Avatar 2 comes out. But obviously that's going to be a thing. I don't believe any of those leaks. Again, we talked about that the other night. People are really harping on this. Like, she's going to take over the role. She's going to do all the things he did. I don't quite know what exactly that would mean. Why she would have to be the one to do it. Why she'd have to be the one to, if it was 1936 Indy, then that's before Temple of Doom Indy, right? That's after Temple of Doom Indy. So it would be Raiders Indy, and then it would be Last Crusade Indy. Would she team up with Henry? Would she be the one to go save Henry and find the chalice, find the Holy Grail? You know what I mean? Like, would she be the one that stops the Russians from the alien shit in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Like, it's really kind of, it's really, really, really stupid. I think the shit's all made up, man. I don't see that being a thing. Anthony Beltre here asking, Matt, will Indiana Jones 5 be a masterpiece like Logan? I fucking hope so. I hope so. I look, man, James Mangold is a fantastic director, and he seems to try to shut down the chuds as much as humanly possible. But I really do hate these fucking leaks because they all sound terrible. All right. They all sound absolutely terrible. Rational says, why don't they bring back Mutt in Short Round? I mean, well, for one, Shia did not care for what happened in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He's kind of admitted that they phoned it in, according to him. And then also, people got mad at him for shitting on the movie. And Short Round had taken time off of acting. The actor had taken time off. He's just now back. I don't know. Maybe they'll throw in a cameo. I think that'd be great. If Salah's in it, why not Short Round? Obviously. Whatever happened to Short Round, we have no freaking idea. We're going to have to wait to see. Shia also has beef with Spielberg. I mean, yeah, Shia's got beef with a lot of people. So I'll have to wait and see how that thing plays out. But all right, let's get into the next story. This is one's been a pretty big one today as well. Marvel's Blade finds new director with Lovecraft Country's helmer, Jan Demange. This is absolutely a good choice in my mind. I think Lovecraft Country, the pilot episode is who this guy directed, was a very good episode. So it says here, Marvel Studios' Blade is being unsheathed once more, this time with a whole new creative team. Jan Demange, who directed the pilot for HBO's boundary-pushing horror series Lovecraft Country, has come aboard to helm the vampire action thriller that still has Mahershala Ali attached to star. Meanwhile, Michael Sarbury, who earned an Emmy nomination for penning an episode of Ava DuVernay's drama When They See Us, has been hired to pen a brand new script. The team puts the project back on track after losing its original director, Basim Tariq, in September. The parting of ways due to creative differences and occurred suddenly as the project was in pre-production and heading towards a November production start date in Atlanta. This is like, that was kind of a shocker, to be fair. But rather than jamming another director in something that clearly needed an overhaul, Marvel pressed pause for a deeper look under the hood. That meant a page one rewrite for the project, which had labored in the screenwriting phase. Ali was personally involved in selecting the writer, according to sources. Details are being kept under wraps, but sources say that the intent is for Blade to be dark and gritty in tone, falling on the edgier side of Marvel fare, and maybe even finding common shading with the fondly remembered Blade movies made in the early 2000s by New Line. Well, you forget 1998, 2000, and what was it? 2002, and then 2000. and 2004. So, okay. A lot of us out there, we really want Blade to be R-rated. We want Blade to be dark. We want Blade to be gritty. This is a daywalker who fights vampires, who cuts them up. Vampires obviously drink blood. They're into a lot of nefarious shit. People want to see it. This is what they want. This is what the fans have been asking. This is what the fans have been demanding. All of that shit. And it seems like they're listening. And I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the success of Werewolf by Night, if it has anything to do with the nearly $1 billion take-home of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I say that because that movie was definitely darker, played into horror elements, and audiences responded. They didn't revolt. They weren't reviled by it. They didn't turn away. They were like, yeah, we want this. We want more of this. We like to see this side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We like there to be darker things or edgier things. People love Daredevil. They love Punisher. They want to see this stuff come back. And maybe Kevin Feige is finally, maybe he's finally in a position to where he's not going to play it safe as much as he used to. Maybe they are looking at the mistakes of Phase 4 and realizing that they need to go this particular route because people out there want it. Additionally, I think Bob Chapek might have had something to do with that, might have had something to say about that. But that being said, Chapek's now no longer there. And so is Kevin Feige going to come on in, is Bob Iger going to come on in? Is Bob Iger going to fuck with this? That's my question. You know what I mean? Like, is Bob Iger going to find a way to screw with this? I literally have no freaking idea what's going to happen next. And quite frankly, neither does anybody else here. Plus, she says, I see a ton of hate for Multiverse of Madness on the internet. Yeah, but the movie still pulled in nearly $1 billion, and a lot of people really liked it. I watched it again the other day. It was really good. Garrick here says, Mahler made a 5-hour video of Multiverse of Madness. You know, it's funny. I actually talked about that today. All right. I talked about that today. I was at the store before going live tonight, and the checkout stands have red light, green lights on top of them. And obviously I had to ask the guy at a red light. I said, hey, is this red light working? Are you open? He goes, yeah. He goes, the problem with it is that everyone sees red and everyone thinks it means stop or that we're closed. So I have to keep explaining it to people, and my bosses simply won't get rid of it. And I was like, I jokingly brought up the Multiverse of Madness. I'm like, did you see Multiverse of Madness? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you remember the part when they go to the other dimension and they showcased like green means stop, red means go. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, what's funny is people online were complaining about that. They thought it was really stupid, but it's also a really clear way for people to understand that up is down and down is up, right? Black is white, white is black, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. That makes a lot of sense. Right. And it just goes to show you that people like Mahler are fucking morons. But RJ here, once again, bad take. Blade doesn't need to be rated R. It does. Sorry, RJ, it does. You weren't alive when Blade dropped. Okay. You weren't alive. It came out a year before you were born. Okay. Like, that's a movie. That's a movie. That movie being rated R was a big deal. All right. That movie being rated R was a big deal back in the 90s. Vampire films like John Carpenter's Vampires, which is utterly fucking fantastic. And then the next year being Blade, 2 high-profile R-rated vampire films was a big deal back in the 90s. So you don't think it needs to be rated R, that's fine. I'm telling you. I agree with H-Barts here for $2. Thank you. It needs to be rated R. Sorry, RJ. He's right. He's 100% right. The vampires will turn to dust. That is true. But in the meantime, they will also like be bloodied and things along those lines. And stuff is going to be vampire movie needs blood. Yeah, they're full of blood. They're full of blood, right? Yeah, Brogy here says Blade better be rated R or throw it away. Exactly. One's in the chat if you guys want it to be rated R. If it needs to be rated R, one's in the chat. I think that's kind of the way to go about it. All right. So let us take a moment, because I'm at the end of the stuff here. Let us take a moment and laugh at Black Adam once more. I know. Oh my God, man, you're doing it. You're making fun of The Rock. Oh, what is it now? What are you going to say now? Oh my God. Now, I've been critical of this movie. I think it's okay, right? I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to check it out when it comes to digital, which, by the way, is tomorrow. You can get Black Adam tomorrow, 1 month after its release, for $20 on PVOD. $20 on PVOD. If you missed Black Adam in theaters, if you missed Black Adam and you didn't make it to the theater, you can get it on PVOD for 20 bones. $20, man. Now listen, that's not a bad price. And it's been proven through a number of releases that have gone on digital for that price point, have made a fair amount of money. There is a digital marketplace that can do well for these kind of movies. Look at The Northman. Movie came out, had a big cast in it, did all right theatrically, but it made a profit off of when it was released digitally. So there is a market to be made there, and obviously they're going to hold on to this on PVOD as long as they can before it drops on 4K and DVD in early January. I think January 4, 2023. So it's going to be on VOD literally for a month and a half before it goes to home video, which is not uncommon. It's going to be on there a little longer than usual. Usually it's like, it's on digital for like a month before it goes to home video, but they're going to hold off on that and maybe see if it can pick up a solid word of mouth in the Christmas phase, right? During the holiday season, when they're just going to get absolutely clobbered by not only, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, but Avatar 2 and whatever else comes out that's probably going to end up doing more. Black Adam shot. It just didn't land. It just didn't land in the way that they wanted it to. And as I've said before, and I'm just going to reiterate it again because I like to say it, there's a reason why The Rock has not congratulated James Gunn or Peter Safran. We don't know 100% what that particular thing is, but we do know that at this particular point, this is what's going on. What's going on is the movie is just not it's just not performing well. It had a solid open. It held on for a bit during a very dry spell. And then now it has effectively damaged itself. But hey, listen, all you out there, all you Cable stands out there who you're longing for 5 seconds of new footage because it's the only way you can finish. You can get it on PVOD tomorrow. You can get it then. And then you can get it in 4K or DVD or Blu-ray at the beginning of the year. But this is definitely a move that is not going to make The Rock happy. You can tell. Like, I think that was a reason why yesterday he went off like he did over this IGN post right here. I think that's a reason why he went off the way that he did, was because he knew that there was going to be an announcement that it was going to come out on PVOD. But it was like literally not like, oh, it's coming on PVOD the week, in a couple days. It's literally like, hey, it's dropping tomorrow on PVOD. They know that the movie it failed. It just bombed. And it just didn't have any legs. And it's not doing well internationally. So yeah, I'm sorry to say it. I'm just sorry to say it. It is what it is, man. James here says that the Rock is going to the MCU. Also saying that the Rock is regretting joining the DCEU. I don't think he's regretting it. I don't think he's regretting it necessarily. What I think is happening is like, he didn't expect this to happen. I really think that. I think what he had intended was that the movie, I don't think he thought the movie was going to do like $1 billion, right? It could have if it was a better movie. Like, I think if I saw someone today on Twitter saying like, release the Black Adam R-rated cut because the movie was toned down for violence. Like, yeah, absolutely. If you've got a cut of the movie that's completed that has more violence, release the unrated cut. Let audiences see that. I will gladly pick up a copy of the unrated cut to give it a view. I'll absolutely do that. I want to see how it is. I'll talk about it. I'll probably talk about it positively. This is the problem, is I feel like they played it safe with this movie in a way to try to like open the door. And okay, let me talk positively about Black Adam for a second. Okay. Cause I should do that. What the movie tried to do, and what I think it actually did relatively well, was it served as a bridge. It served as a bridge between the Suicide Squad, between Superman, between the JSA. It served as a bridge, like a central point within what we know of the DCU, right? That's what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a hub for all these characters to kind of interact in this world, to build up their rock, and to also elevate those other characters so they can then go on and have their own adventures, and all sorts of money will fly down from the heavens. I really feel that is what the movie did very well. The problem, though, is that the villain was weak. The story was kind of subpar. It needed to be R-rated with the violence because he kept talking it up like it's like, like heroes don't kill people. Well, I do. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You hucked the dude halfway across the world. That's cool. And all, you dropped a couple guys knowing that Hawkman would save him. Oh, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, we got one 2 scenes of him like really effing a lot of guys up, which is cool. But they were also kind of relative. Well, the first one was really cool. The one inside the cave, I thought that was awesome. And it needed more of that. It needed like 3 or 4 more of those particular scenes. It would have been a lot better at that point. That's the problem. Is it played it safe, and it tried to rest upon the concept of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being the central figure. It wasn't Black Adam. It wasn't the Man in Black. It wasn't the champion of Kahndaq. It was The Rock. The Rock was using himself to promote this movie, and it just failed. It just failed to live up to expectations that I think he had artificially built up in his own head, and it's reflected in the box office. And like I said, I said this last night, I feel they should have released the movie in July. It would have had very little competition. Bullet Train was the only other movie coming out at that point in time that would have given it any competition. Bullet Train did okay, but it was also an R-rated action comedy versus a PG-13 comic book movie that could have probably pulled in more people during that particular time. Then, of course, comes the whole conversation. But then what about Superman? Well, what about Superman? That it added nothing to the movie. It didn't move the needle. It hurt the movie. Superman being in Black Adam fundamentally hurt the movie. It didn't do anything. All it did was it caused Henry Cavill to reaffirm his quitting of The Witcher, and then go back to his management team, which has clearly failed him for years. After Justice League came and crashed and burned, he didn't do anything theatrically outside of Mission Impossible Fallout, which was already in production. And he was really good in Mission Impossible Fallout, and it had a much higher audience resonance than fucking Justice League. But at the same time, that movie hurt the brand of these characters and the actors playing these characters so badly that even his management team basically cast him off to Netflix because even they believed he wasn't a star anymore. And then when this whole thing came back around and The Rock's like, we can bring you back. Now's the time we can bring you back. And he did it, effectively leading a show that he was perfectly cast for behind under necessary reasons due to creative differences, which I completely understand. We can see now that he's out there talking up a storm, guys. I'm back. And all these fans like, yeah, Henry. And then you find out like it's just literally counting the eggs before they hatched. And that's what happened here. Black Adam is a movie that counted its eggs counted its chickens before they were hatched. That's what it is. And it didn't go the way that they wanted. And they have egg on their face, literally. And so now the movie comes out on PVOD tomorrow for $20, where they hope they can recoup some of the cost of the film. The $200 million budgeted movie with a $100 million marketing budget that needs to crack at least $400 million to break even to some extent. And they're hoping to eke out a meager profit in order to support a second film. Do I think Black Adam 2 will happen? Yeah, I do. But I think what's going to happen with that is Black Adam is not going to be the central figure. He's going to be brought into something else, or it's going to be like another setup movie or whatever. And it's going to have $100 million budget. And James Gunn is going to oversee the story, oversee the script, and make sure that The Rock is just an actor. Because the biggest problem that's going to happen now is The Rock and his damaged, bruised ego, as we saw yesterday when he responded to this. Because he has a damaged, bruised ego, that's going to prevent him from wanting to work with the new powers that be, the new bosses, the new people in charge, because that's just how he is. Welcome to Hollywood, where a month after your biggest movie that you've been fighting for 13 years hits PVOD for $19.99. All right. I'm just saying, I'm not like trying to be a dick. I just have to keep reiterating this. I just have to keep reiterating all this stuff. You know what I mean? This is how it is, folks. It's just how it is. So, all right. I guess Benson left a free super chat. I'm waiting for the thing to catch up here, because I can't see it on my end just yet. All right. I see Ryan sent a super chat as well. Let me get to that while I find that. Thank you very much, Ryan. Asking, have you seen Mickey in a Minute, the short Disney recently released? I haven't, actually. I haven't seen Mickey in a Minute. So there's that. I haven't seen Mickey in a minute yet, but I'll have to check it out. All right, we got 2 member super chats. Simon Section, matinee member for 16 months. Thank you, Simon. Says, Jarby, you keeping me stuck between the rock and shit. I'm sorry, buddy. And then Benson, who's been an IMAX member for 11 months. Thank you, man. Highest tier IMAX. Thank you. Says, my prediction for Royd Adam box office was correct. He isn't in Gunn's plans. Hence, they are dumping this off a movie so they can move forward with their own plans. Roy Johnson isn't a movie star. Well, I've been saying that for a while. That again, like the guy is stars in movies, but he's not a legitimate star. And Brogy here makes a great point. Black Adam should have tied more into Shazam to give a better sense of world building. The fact that it didn't, that it fundamentally ignored that is ultimately the bigger problem. And that to me is sad. It's really sad because when you look at it, you're like, dude, Shazam was a solid movie. Shazam 2 is going to be a solid movie. These are solid movies to get yourself in the door of, right? These are pre-established, like, solid movies. Except he's like, no, I want it to be all about me. He just wants it to be all about him. That's what he cares about. So that part sucks. That part really sucks because, like, it's just all this time and all this money kind of shoehorned by ego. So we need to have you debate PPP on The Rock again. That would be an interesting thing. I don't even know what he's up to these days. I haven't even thought about him in a long time. Rational asking, do you think there's a backroom politics fighting between The Rock and James Gunn? I don't know. I mean, again, like I've said, I feel that it was all about Hiram Garcia. That was meant to be the inside guy. You know what I mean? Like that was going to be the inside man. And I think that failed. And I think, honestly, that's what ended up being the biggest problem, right? I think there's that. Robotic Dre here says, low-key Matt likes talking shit about The Rock. I'll tell you this though, Robotic. I literally have nothing against Dwayne. I actually do genuinely enjoy him as an entertainer. I really do. I like pissing off his fans. That to me is really funny. But I think at the same time, at this point, I'm probably preaching to the choir because I've said it so many times. And a lot of the audience here, they're like, yeah, fuck that guy. I mean, even JP here says The Rock is not a good team player. And that's true. He's not. Garrick, you're saying The Rock is just upset he's not going to be the top dog at DC. I think that's also true. You know, Jess here says, what made Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Rock different at the beginning of their career? Arnold took on sequels. Arnold played the field. Arnold had other action stars to compete with. I think that's also kind of the problem is The Rock doesn't have any action stars to compete with. I mean, that literally like back in the day, you had Schwarzenegger, you had Sylvester Stallone, you had Bruce Willis, Jean-Claude Van Damme. There was like Harrison Ford. There was like, Harrison Ford is more like, thriller action type stuff, but he still did action. You had these actors back in the day that would sell these projects, actors that led the charge, movies that were like that people would go see them because it's a new Arnold movie. It's a new Will Smith movie. It's a new Stallone movie. These are movies that people will go watch because it has actors that they like. That was a big thing back in the 90s. And people would flock to those movies because they just enjoyed that talent, those talents. Now there's so many variety. There's so many things. People out there, and these movies generally haven't gotten much better. I still enjoy practically every movie I watch. Nothing I think is beyond watching. Even Black Adam, I've crapped on it for kind of being mid, but it's like still there's elements of the movie that I really enjoy. I thought the soundtrack was really good. I thought that the cinematography was really good. I enjoyed how the visual effects I thought were really good. I enjoyed The Rock in the movie. I enjoyed Pierce Brosnan, Aldous Hodge. I liked Noah Centineo and Quintessa Swindell. I liked people in the movie. I thought the elements of it were good. It just the sum of its parts didn't really kind of come together in the way that I wanted it to. It's like, so what it was is you've got to worry about like, well, okay, Ryan here makes a good point. Arnold and Sylvester also had personalities. They did, right? They did have personalities back then. And that was a big part of it as well. All right. And Casser brings up Wesley Snipes. Thank you. I don't want to forget Wesley Snipes, dude. Fucking not only is Demolition Man one of my all-time favorite movies, but like you had Passenger 57. There's what, like, I think that was, I know he's done a lot more. Blade, right? there's been a lot. You had Steven Seagal movies back in the day. Seagal was huge when I was a kid. Like we would go to my friend's house and we would have Seagal night marathons where we'd watch Above the Law, Marked for Death, Hard to Kill. I remember when I got my copy of Out for Justice. No, sorry. We would do Above the Law, Out for Justice, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death. Those are all different. You had Cobra. We would watch like Under Siege. I remember when I had what was it, Columbia House, and I got a copy of On Deadly Ground. I watched On Deadly Ground a bunch. I've always liked, I love early Seagal films. Why did I say Cobra? Cobra was Stallone. What am I thinking? Right. But I'm just saying, like, back there's just a lot of the movies had personality back then. I remember like being a big Chuck Norris fan and then like watching the movie The Hitman, where he was a mob hitman who ends up getting like double crossed and he comes back and he starts taking everybody out. Right. It's a simple concept, but it was violent and it was like, it was crazy. And it was like, those movies were like that. Right. It's like these movies used to be all that kind of shit. Right. Oh, the Glimmer Man, Keenan Ivory Wayans, that whole bit about fucking deer piss in the Glimmer Man. But I'll say this though, man, Exit Wounds with DMX. I adore Exit Wounds. That movie is fucking good. It's so fucking fun. I love Exit Wounds. I like Seagal movies. Yes, but still no Rocky. Yes. Was I thinking of Commando? I wasn't thinking of Commando. No, I was not. But the problem though, John here makes a good point. The Rock thinks posing at the camera is acting. That's actually true. He does. He thinks that he is bigger than the roles, right? One of the things that Schwarzenegger did well, if you go and you look at, let's say, Kindergarten Cop, he plays like the straight man in that particular scenario. He's a San Franciscan cop that ends up having to go to Astoria, Oregon. It's all like, who is your daddy and what does he do? Don't bullshit me, kid. There's like, it's such a fish out of water concept, but he played Richard Kimball really well. And he played it with this like love and this tenderness. And like, it worked really well for that. Eraser was like a Last Action Hero was fucking phenomenal. Like he would bring this warmth and love to these roles. Stallone brought a lot of that with like, look at First Blood. First Blood is a phenomenal movie, dude. Great acting. And then he had the Rocky movies, which I haven't seen. However, I'll point out that like everyone out there seems to like him and they've got a lot of awards and accolades and a lot of love. So even though I haven't seen them, doesn't mean that their love isn't diminished, that their love is diminished. I just don't have that love, but I understand the quality of work that went into those movies. I get that. The Rock hasn't done anything. The closest thing The Rock has done, in my opinion, that could be considered an awards contender was like Pain and Gain, which was a good movie. And he was really good in that movie. But it's like he seems to have forgotten what it is to have a personality, to go into a character and not just make it about him, right? Like I think Central Intelligence was kind of like the last time I saw him really be like that. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think like no one has told this dude, like, go learn to act. Like John Cena in Peacemaker outperforms The Rock on everything he's ever done in regards to dramatic, character-driven storytelling, which makes me really question what would happen if someone like James Gunn directed Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a movie. Would we get a stellar performance out of that? And I believe that we actually would. I think if James Gunn tackled Black Adam, we would get something that is darkly violent, deeply comedic, darkly comedic, and very sentimental, and something that would be used to elevate the character. I really do think that. I really think that. Rationally for $5. Thank you very much. Matt, remember back in the day when new films would release in theaters on a Wednesday? Whatever happened to that? They went to Fridays. Like they used to release movies on like, they went to Fridays just because of the weekend. But remember when home videos released on Tuesday? That still happens, by the way, when new releases come out on Tuesday. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, there's, I do remember those days, man. Planning my whole life around those releases. Thank you. Garrick here. Arnold also worked with better directors like Cameron, Verhoeven, Reitman, and McTiernan. The Rock, not so much. Now, that is an excellent point. There are a bevy of fantastic directors at the time, right? There are a bevy of fans out today. There's a lot of them that are really good. But you're right. Working with James Cameron, doing Terminator 2, obviously. Verhoeven for Total Recall. Reitman for Kindergarten Cop. McTiernan for not only Predator, but Last Action Hero. I mean, yeah, like those are fantastic, excellent directors who have established their legacy 100%. The Rock at this point works mostly with Ross and Thurber Marshall. Central Intelligence, Skyscraper, Red Notice. And then the Yame, the guy who did fucking Jungle Cruise and then Black Adam. And he's not a bad director, but it's like he needs better scripts. And that guy did a lot with Liam Neeson. And those movies are pretty solid. So you're right. Arnold and even, I would say to a lesser extent, Stallone. I mean, Stallone worked with Richard Donner and Antonio Banderas and Julianne Moore in Assassins, which is such a fucking good movie. Do you know that was I think that like the first draft of that movie was written by the Wachowskis. That was their first paid gig. I love Assassins. It's such a good movie. But it's just like the stuff from back then is crazy. Yeah, also here, Darth Scipio brings up Mel Gibson was a really good action star too. Dude, fuck. I was working at the theater when Lethal Weapon 4 came out. That movie did well for us. People loved Mel Gibson movies. Maverick, the Lethal Weapon movies. His what was it like? I remember when like Apocalypto came out right after his whole drunken Malibu arrest, anti-Semite fucking bullshit that he did. Stupid idiot. And that was, people went to that because they like Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson has a name, Fat Man, people love Fat Man. People have been watching that now for a year. They love Fat Man. There's, or is it 2 years now of Fat Man? I forget, but Fat Man was excellent. There's one called, Get the Gringo, which is, basically like Payback. There's a lot of really, really, really good stuff out there. That came from these older actors, and it wasn't just them. I mean, even like, Danny Glover, did a fair amount back in the day. There were like Morgan Freeman movies. Like you would go see these movies based upon like who was in these movies, not the characters they were playing, but the actors playing the characters. That did change a lot with, you could argue, with the current movie landscape. But at the same time, people went to go see Iron Man because of Robert Downey Jr. So that's not an entire argument that always seems to really hold weight. What I really think the problem here is that like, people have too many options, and maybe that's another issue as well. And that movies seem to want to play it safe these days, whether it was back in the late 80s and early 90s when the box office, they had fucking money. And then in the late 90s and 2000s, when the DVD was flush with cash, they had even more money. They played with all these kind of things. They don't play with that anymore, but now it's all done. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if an algorithm decides it. I don't know if they run it through like an AI generator. I got no fucking idea. But I feel like they're playing it safe now, and they should, in my mind, go back. Movies can make a lot of money if they just spend, maybe a little bit less and figure out a way to like do something like where the stars get paid on the back end and the Bush League Hollywood accounting stops fucking around. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you this, talking about these older movies, I just want to go back and watch all these older films, not because like of some kind of nostalgia thing. Not like, oh, I remember when I was a kid, no, because they're just fundamentally better movies. They're just better movies. And I watch a lot of the today's shit for younger kids because I have my kids and stuff like that. And I think that's why I like Paws of Fury. Paws of Fury felt like a movie that would have been made in 2006. You know what I mean? It just felt like it was from that time, and it just felt better as a result of that. Garrick here for 5. Thank you, buddy. Even Arnold's lesser movies like End of Days and The Sixth Day are more interesting than The Rock's movies. You need good stories and concepts. Yeah, I mean, the fact of End of Days like was all about, fucking, what was it? A demon? It was like the Archangel Michael, right? That's what it was. It's been a while since I've seen that. And The Sixth Day, dude, I fucking love The Sixth Day. That movie was so crazy. That movie was super fucking good. Even Ryan Hartwell here says The Sixth Day is underrated 100%. That movie is great. It cloned Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, like the whole repet thing. I just lost my last cat. So like I was actually thinking about repet the other day, thinking about The Sixth Day. And I got that on DVD actually out in the garage right now. But like that movie is great. I mean, like, remember End of Days came out, and then at the same time you had, what was it? Patricia Arquette in Stigmata. Both of those movies had, I think, Gabriel Byrne in both of those movies, but like Stigmata came out right around the same time. Then we also had like The Sixth Sense right around the same time. So there's like a bunch of crazy ass older movies back then that were just really good. And they were just different. And they were, I think, Jess here says they were built differently, and I don't know what it is that went wrong. I don't know. I don't know necessarily like what exactly has gone wrong. I mean, we all have our different opinions. And part of me goes back to this idea, this quote that I heard once. I forget who said it, so I'm paraphrasing, but one of the showrunners of The Simpsons said that The Simpsons has been on so long that we have writers working on the show who grew up watching the show. And it's like, yeah, if you've been around for 30 years and you have people who come on in who are fans of the stuff that was happening 30 years ago, they might recycle some of those plot points. And believe it or not, and I haven't watched Simpsons in years, but like, hasn't The Simpsons fundamentally gone through and like recycled plot points? Like they've just recycled stories, and maybe that's part of the problem is like we just get stuck on this fucking loop. Maybe that's the issue, right? But it's like, that's where I've always thought I could be a little different in how I approach stuff. I've always looked at stories and like how to tell a story, what would be interesting, what would be fascinating, but then again, like I'm also a big ass idiot. Benson here for £5. Thanks, buddy. Says The Rock brought his wrestling fans with him to the movies. They have grown up now and need more than roid stretch marks and a dodgy eyebrow. I'll tell you this though. Actually, I agree with you partially on that. But at the same time, what I also say is that it's a lot of women who like The Rock as well. A lot of women who really like The Rock. And so there's that, right? Where I think that's a lot, but I get what you're saying there. HWAD here says The Rock was really never that great in wrestling. I mean, he was a good heel, right? He was a good heel and he played that up. He can, this the thing is like wrestling is more about the entertainment, I think, to a lot of people. And that's a big factor of it too. Now, Jess here says a great point, by the way. I think social media is killing cinema by saying what they want and who they do not. I was listening to Grace Randolph's coverage of the Bob Chapek situation today when I had to go out to the store. And she made a great comment about how like now even movie executives are treated like actors, like stars, right? Popular or celebrities on social media. Like we care what these executives are doing. These aren't people that are like in front of the camera, right? Or the people that are necessarily the like, directly 100% behind the camera, but we care what these people are doing. And it's very odd. It's very weird how that's taken place. And that has a lot to do with social media. So I agree with Jess on that one. That social media has done a lot to it. And I know it's impacted my mental health over that shit, when I do this show, I mean, I believe I put out a pretty good product. I believe I like to provide as much as I possibly can. I believe that when we talk about these things, I come at it from a level of, integrity, knowledge, logic, and passion, but but then also I do pick on The Rock a little bit. I pick on Black Adam because I think it's funny. And does that make me a dick? Yeah, that makes me a dick. I'll fully admit that. But I think at the same time is like, that's where I really want to focus on Podio commentary and like start really figuring out a way to talk about these movies. I'm just having trouble with the format of like how I want to talk about things because, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't trust anybody else to like work with me on something consistently. Like, like I'll bring my friends in like last night, I'll drop a link occasionally and whatever, they come on in, we chit chat, but I would never want to put it on them to like, to be here every night. If I'm not paying them, then that's not fair to put that, right? To put that out there. But I think it's like, for me, I just want to be able to talk about this stuff and to convey my passion and to convey my interest and my love, because I feel that's the best course of action of getting people to check out something. I think that's the best course of action to getting people to like really want to dive into something new, perhaps, is like if you sell them on something that you like and not something that you hate, it can do a lot more. It's just, it's a process that can be a little crazy. Benson here asking, did I see Campia's I've heard a rumor regarding Chapek sacking? I know. I don't watch John. I actually unsubbed from John Campia. So I have not heard that. What did he say? What's he going to say on that one? Because I mean, what's his? Jesus, what's going on with that one? Also, we do have a Discord. By the way, link is in the video description. I just want to say I just checked it real quick. Saw that Shidoko posted a half hour ago that he just binged Andor up to the 10th episode, and it was just incredible. Very good to get more people into Andor. I think people need to check it out. Again, I love Andor. Season finale is tomorrow. Thank you. Garrick here says, he says, Campia is saying that the head of Disney Studios, Pixar, and Kevin Feige went to Disney board members to appeal to fire Chapek. That's entirely a possibility, but we were hearing that it was the CFO. That's been the reports coming out through the trades. But if you recall, Grace Randolph said something similar to this a while ago about Kathleen Kennedy. And her being summoned in front of everybody, all the heads of the studios, and being like, whatever, she's going to be fired, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I think maybe they were asked about it. Maybe they thought about it, but I don't know. I don't know if they'd want to put themselves in that crossfire. I don't know if they'd want to put themselves in that crossfire at all. John here, I thought Andor ended at the robbery. No, dude. Oh no. You haven't gotten to the prison stuff yet. That shit's great. Garrick here says, Campia is just boring now. His takes are so predictable. He's getting old. He's over 50. His takes are going to be like that. He doesn't know what's going on. So Dalton says, I'm just wondering how Disney was able to use the avatars in Black Panther. We can't talk about that, Dalton. We can't talk about that. Benson here says, Campia is obsessed with money and his promotions. Look, man, I get it. Money, it takes money to do this shit, right? Like this month has been like hit or miss for me. In regards to YouTube, like, it's just, that's how it is. I don't want to ever be obsessed with the money, but the money is needed just to stay afloat, which is why I pushed the Patreon. I'm like, just a couple dollars, I like, if I got 400 people at $5 a month, then I'm set. But it's like, I need to provide more value. I admit that. Campia is just like, he's got that legacy. Like, he's got the legacy. He thinks himself like a Roger Ebert mentality, when in reality he's just like a Richard Roper. You're like, oh, that guy, yeah, okay. But let's see here. Campia is salty that Chapek told his cars to deny access to D23. Maybe. All right, guys, we'll talk for about another, I don't know, maybe we'll go to like 1:30, maybe like another 12 minutes or whatnot, so I can actually get to bed at a decent time tonight. But this is also just a good conversation, because you guys, when you guys bring the questions, I love just talking with you guys about what's going on. I really do. You guys are super insightful. You guys are a really interesting crew of people to talk to, and you guys are in it, and I really, really, really love that. But anyway, going back to the Chapek thing with that, I think it's possible that they might have gone and talked to the studio heads. I also think that Bob Iger is going to need to do a lot of shakeup, and with that, there's going to be a couple people I think going to be on the chopping block for that. Potentially Kathleen Kennedy, just because, Iger's the one who put the pause in doing theatrical films for Star Wars. He's the one who put the pause after Rise of Skywalker, and they haven't been able to hit unpause on that yet. The fact that they had slated a movie for December 2023 and no movie is currently in pre-production or in production to be ready for a year from now is a major misfire, because what's going to take the spot of Star Wars next year? What's Disney's big winter release in 2023? I mean, it could be Avatar 4 or Avatar 3. It could be, because they could probably finish the effects in a year, right? They could probably do that. If everything goes to shit, it may be, who knows, and then they just adjust the schedule after that, Avatar, 2 and 3. And then they skip a year, and then maybe they skip a couple years. Then they go and they do 4 and 5. I don't know, but I think Kathleen Kennedy is going to get it. I do. I think it's time. I've defended Kennedy now for a number of years. It's not to say that I think she's a bad producer. I think she's a very good producer, but I think running Lucasfilm has been a problem. Her entire career has been in and around Lucasfilm, ILM, Amblin Entertainment. Right? She knows these people inside and out. She's a dear, dear, dear friend to them. And I get why they wanted her there to protect it. The problem, though, is that she's juggling too many things. And I think that's been an issue. I think the fact that Iger pushed for a basically soft reboot of A New Hope with The Force Awakens is one that fundamentally hurt it. And I think Kathleen Kennedy wanting to do something a bit more auteur with the follow-up absolutely destroyed what The Force Awakens did. You know, because when you talk to a lot of people who shit on the sequel trilogy, will usually say like, yeah, people will go, I fucking hate The Last Jedi, or I fucking hate The Rise of Skywalker. But you go like, what about The Force Awakens? Like, yeah, no, I like that one. Right? Because it's familiar. And honestly, all things considered, probably The Last Jedi should have been a familiar thing too. Rian Johnson, at the behest of Kathleen Kennedy, under her, guidance, or under her supervision, fundamentally screwed the pooch on that. And I think that's a big problem. So I think Kennedy's got to go. I do. I'm not saying to be malicious or mean, or I'm like, you know what? I just think it's time. You know, it's been 10 years and there's been a lot of problems. So he's got 2 years to get shit back on track. I think Pete Docter, Jennifer Lee are definitely going to be out. Jennifer Lee more than Pete Docter. I've never thought Jennifer Lee was a good person to run Disney animation. I never quite even really enjoyed her writing, but I don't think she brought anything spectacular to the table. Obviously, the pandemic hurt things. I mean, she does have Encanto under her belt to be able to kind of tout up and whatever. But I think if she, gets brought out in order to work on individual films, that will be better for her. And Pete Docter, I think he's done a lot of good with Pixar. There is no, look, I'll shit on freaking Ratatouille, but it's not a terrible movie. I just didn't like it. You know, I don't think there's been a bad Pixar movie outside of Cars 2, which was just a cash grab. Right. But then again, I mean, under Pete Docter, Onward, I really liked. Soul, I fucking loved. Luca, I thought was amazing. Turning Red was brilliant. Lightyear is one of their bigger misses, and that just is because of the legacy of Toy Story and what it was. And I don't think they did a good enough job explaining that or showcasing that in a way that would get people excited for more. Because if you recall, like the opening of Lightyear is like back in 1995, a boy named Andy, saw a movie about a space marine or whatever it was, right? A space ranger. This is that movie. And you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. And the movie, it was dark. It was really dark. We put on Lightyear even tonight for my kids because it's like their bedtime movie. Because the color schemes are fucking dark, and it's just like it's so weird. It's not bright and colorful, and that's what Pixar is known for. Garrick here says Cars 2 was even bad by Illumination standards. Yeah, okay. But Cars 3 was solid, all right? Like, they brought it back for Cars 3. All right? Careful, I'm starting to sound like Doomcock. No, man, listen, I think Kathy has done a lot of good, man. We got the Mandalorian out of that, we got the Star Wars live action stuff, which I enjoy. Clone Wars season 7, which I fundamentally loved. But there's more to Lucasfilm than just Star Wars. I'm looking forward to fucking Willow. I really am looking forward to Willow when that drops here next week. I can't wait to see Indiana Jones 5. The fact that we have a new Return to Monkey Island, there's a new Monkey Island game, and it's fun. It's a blast. I have it on my Switch. You can get it now on Xbox and PC and or PS5. I think it's on Xbox Games Pass as well. Check it out. It's a really fun little point and click adventure. Lucasfilm has a large library of other properties to pull from, and they could pull from those. That people who are my age getting into that, the Gen X, Gen Z, or the Gen X, millennial. Notice how they don't call us Gen Y, right? It's the millennials. That kind of stuff. It's like we grew up with those games. We grew up with those properties. We grew up with, Grim Fandango. We grew up with Maniac Mansion. We grew up with Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. We grew up with Monkey Island. We grew up with, TIE Fighter versus X-Wing. We or whatever, Rogue Squad. We grew up with all of these LucasArts games that people really, really, really like. And they could find a way to bring them back now in ways that are new and inventive and interesting. But it's like, no, Star Wars. And I love Star Wars, but it's like, they could do more. Darth Scipio here says, The Mandalorian is all Favreau, not KK. I don't think you understand how it all came together. She's the one who put them together. And she also greenlit it. Creatively, it's all Favreau and Filoni. All right. Creatively speaking. But at the same time, you have to understand that she has a spot in that as well. All right. And also, dude, you got this take up here about the Incredibles was a big disappointment. Like Incredibles 2, like, no, you're just, no, bad take. Plushy here says there was a new Monkey Island. Yep. Return to Monkey Island. It is from the original creator of Monkey Island, and it is a lot of fun. I've got it on the Switch. It's a blast. I really, really, really like it. Garrick here says maybe Lucasfilm should hire Mike Zero to chart the future of Star Wars. That's, you know what, at this point, man, at this point, could it be any worse? Right? Thank you, Zachary. Thank you. Incredibles 2 was fucking amazing. Absolutely. Incredibles is like the one IP that Pixar has that is so fundamentally underutilized. It's just like, God damn, it's so good. Dude, the fucking music, the direction, like the noir, everything that they did, the art deck. Oh my God. Like Incredibles 2 is such a good fucking movie. The first one's still better. All right. Like who didn't want to like smash Mirage back in the day, you know? Elizabeth Pena, man. Oof. Right. And then you get like, but dude, all the guys that are into Helen Parr, into Elastigirl. Anyway, that played into a lot of MILF fantasies, I think. Anyway, The Incredibles 2 is a disappointment to you. Well, I think you need to watch it again. I really think you need to watch it again. Garrick here says Geeks and Gamers is saying that Bob Chapek is a fall guy. It was always intended for Iger to come back. No, Iger was in the process of talking with was it Red Bard Capital or some Red Baird? I'm not too sure. He was doing something else. He was going to go do another job. Rational here with the best comment of the night. We need Bugs Life too. Goddamn right. If Bugs Life was Seven Samurai, okay, like give us Bugs Life 2, fucking Yojimbo or Hidden Fortress or something, you know? But yes, I absolutely would love more Bugs Life, man. I love Bugs Life. Let's see here. Okay, Eric Zeser here says will Avatar sequels have a bigger villain than Quaritch? Perhaps the mystery ancient threat, perhaps something with fire. I don't know. That's the thing with the mysterious ancient threat, where it's like, if it's been, let's estimate 15 years, right? Let's estimate at most 15 years between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2. Is that enough time for something to become an ancient threat? No, but it could be something to do with HWAD. And maybe, I don't know. We'll have to find that out. Simon here asking, will Jack be the villain in Incredibles 3? No, but I really hope they depower Jack a little bit. I thought that was the only thing with Incredibles 2 I kind of got a little bit old or a little bit bored of, was like Jack being a polymorph. I mean, like, it was funny, and then it just like, he's got like all these abilities. I was like, all right, whatever. But anyway, Religus here. Ooh, pulling out a Cameron Pasha, right? Quoting, channeling your inner Cameron. Chapek is playing 4D chess. He intended to get fired to lure Iger into his trap, just as planned. Yeah. Garrick and Jess are both pointing out same time. Brave 2. I'll tell you this though. I saw Brave when it came out 10 years ago, and I was like, it was all right. Then I had kids and I watched it again. Man, I fucking love Brave. I love Brave. So good. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. They haven't done anything with Merida since then. Like what? Wreck-It Ralph 2 is like about it, They did one little short, I think, that had nothing to do with Merida, but it was just like someone else going to the cabin for the witch and stuff. They should do more with Merida. I really do think that. Ryan here says Monsters Inc. 2. Dude, Ryan, you've seen Monsters at Work, right? Right? You've seen Monsters at Work. It leads into Monsters Inc. 2. It's effectively Monsters Inc. 2 to an extent. Garrick here says, or a true sequel to Monsters Inc. None of that prequel Monsters University crap. No, dude, that's sacrilege, man. I love Monsters University. Monsters University was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Eric here asking, perhaps HWAD will have an opposite, an evil incarnate. Maybe. That'd be fascinating. Rational asking, do Ratatouille, Incredibles, Toy Story, Bugs Life takes place in the same universe? I don't know. I have no idea if it does, to be honest with you. Benson here says Condor. That's your answer to everything, Benson. Condor Man reboot, man. That's your answer to everything. How would I feel about a live action Atlantis with Tom Holland as Milo? I don't really feel like we need a live action Atlantis, to be honest with you. I feel like Atlantis was good enough on its own, and I really enjoyed Atlantis. I finally watched it actually for the first time earlier this year. Like, I watched Hercules and Atlantis, and I hadn't seen either of them because they came out at a time when I just wasn't really watching Disney films. But fuck, dude, Hercules was fucking fire, man. That movie was good. I really enjoyed Atlantis as well. I wish Disney Plus had the hour-long documentary that they put out on ABC about finding Atlantis, the actual like lost city of Atlantis, hosted by Melissa Joan Hart, because that actually exists. I don't know if it's on YouTube. It's clearly not on Disney Plus, but like, it was a cool little documentary. And I remember at that time I started seeking out like other information about the lost city of Atlantis. And I came across a documentary, a feature-length documentary narrated by Ted Danson about Atlantis. And again, if that's on YouTube, y'all should check that shit out. Listen, I consider myself a pragmatic, rational, logical, very like intelligence-based individual, but I like me some good mysteries. Like, I love Bigfoot. I love the lost city of Atlantis. Like some of those mysteries out there, I just like to dream, I just like to dream. So if you've got something that's going to tie into like, either like a Jules Verne-esque type mystery, which is one of the reasons why like Strange World I'm excited for Strange World. It looks like a Jules Verne type adventure, and those are great. Slumberland drops this week on Netflix, and that's, a Nemo based, that's a take on Nemo, but that looks fun. I'm looking forward to Slumberland with my kids when it drops, And then obviously the upcoming Pinocchio is going to be pretty good. Netflix kind of feels like it's firing on all cylinders this holiday season. You got Knives Out dropping pretty soon. I'm going to try to go see that this week. So yeah, anyway, I'm just saying like I like those kind of stories, and adventure. I love adventure, man. It's good shit, So I think those are the ones that always get to me. Those are the ones that like even Treasure Planet. Like that movie was underrated in my opinion. I liked it. It was good. Fucking Titan AE is such a good movie. I actually watched that one again recently, and it didn't really age the greatest, but you know what? I still really, really, really like it because Don Bluth, man, fucking Don Bluth is the GOAT. What about a Black Cauldron live action? Oof. Yeah, man, that would be very interesting. That'd be very interesting there. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Taylor here says Monsters University did something I didn't think possible, a family-friendly college comedy that also had permanent consequences for the protagonists. No get out of jail free card at the end, which is true. Here's the thing. If it's, I made this joke that Monsters University was heavily influenced by Revenge of the Nerds. It was like that movie, just without the rape. And I stand by that. Oh, Brogy remembers the Atlantis special, man. Yeah, that was a cool special. Do you remember where they where they thought that Atlantis was? At the end of that, like they speculated that it was, I want to say like Cuba. It looked like Cuba, but then I saw a National Geographic documentary on it where they speculate that it was like between Spain. And what's the area between Spain and is it Libya? That bridge right there, whatever area that is, I forget. But yeah, man, I like all that stuff. Let's see here. Okay, Ancient Apocalypse is on Netflix. Is brilliant. If you like stories of ancient cities, I do. Who's in Ancient Apocalypse? Because I like that kind of shit. I really do. Let's see. Ryan here says I enjoyed Treasure Planet. What a Song of the South remake. Bob Chapek is no longer at Disney, so we're not going to get that. But if you listen to Mecha Random, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is just another Song of the South. I don't get it. I don't understand it. That girl crazy. Rationator says we need a Coraline sequel. That we do. That we absolutely do. Okay. Talking about Up 2, was it there? Up 2 or Wall-E 2? I mean, dude, Up is such a great movie. Ed Asner passing clearly puts the lid on that. I thought the shorts, the shorts with Doug were really good. Those were fun, but like again, like I think we're okay. I think we're all right with that. WALL-E 2 would be cool, but I think WALL-E also works as a standalone story. It just, I think was it the Peter Gabriel song at the end credits of that one are fucking great. There's all that. Is Gibraltar? Is that Gibraltar? I thought Gibraltar was like, no, I'm thinking of, isn't Cape Horn the very tip of Africa, or is that South America? I forget, man. I forget. We Need Down, a sequel to Up. I mean, what? Send Russell on an adventure? That'd be okay. Let's see. Oh, no, Garrick. A Little Mermaid remake with Mecha Random as Ariel. No, gross. Rational asking, do you remember the Robots animated film? I do. It was Blue Sky's first movie, I believe, starring Ewan McGregor and Mel Brooks and other people who I forget. But it was okay. It was okay. We will just have to dream of Coraline too. We will. Yeah. I love Coraline though, man. Coraline is like, when I saw Coraline, I didn't see it until it hit home video. And then when I sat down to watch it, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. And then, I mean, the Leica, I love Leica. Iron Giant, shut up, McQuan. We don't need Iron Giant 2. I say, okay, right. Sorry. It was Blue Sky though. It was Blue Sky, but it was Blue Sky. Just Ice Age was the first one. I would love it if they did like another, I like the Ice Age series, but it got really ridiculous there by the last one, Collision Course. My kids were watching it yesterday and I caught a few minutes of it again. And I'm just like, why did they make this movie? But I enjoy, but I mean, it's like, not like I can still listen to it in the background and like not care and like find enjoyment. Like we watched, Buck Wild, The Adventures of Buck Wild, and that wasn't great, but like there's elements there. You can kind of find some enjoyment out of that. No, I know that. No, Iron Giant is a great movie, but it's like, it kind of is okay. It's okay. Let's see. Eric asking, is Disney making a live action Sword in the Stone? I don't believe that they are. I don't believe that they are making a live action Sword in the Stone. Madam Mim, I don't remember who that is, to be honest with you. Beetlejuice 2 or Planet of the Apes 2? Planet of the Apes 2. I want Planet of the Apes 2 is what I want. Because I love Planet of the Apes. The Tim Burton one is solid. It's a solid movie. It's definitely a good movie. Okay. Oh, Benson. Okay. So it's a series. Okay. Maybe I'll give it an episode to watch tonight. Do another Emperor's New Groove with David Spade. That'd be cool. I love the Emperor's New Groove. That was great. Ryan here says, I think Beetlejuice 2 is in the works. It is. Apparently Catherine O'Hara is coming back as Claudia Dietz. I saw that pop up the other day. That'd be pretty cool. Yes. Zachary, Monster House 2. Fuck yeah. Love Monster House. Garrick asking Lone Ranger 2 or John Carter 2. Dude, come on, man. John Carter 2. John Carter was a good fucking movie. Okay. It's a good fucking movie. All right. Like it cost a lot of money. Disney didn't know how to market it. Okay. I saw it in Burbank when it came out and shit. It's a good fucking movie. Lone Ranger was I need to watch it. I will, here's the thing. I was going to watch it again. I wanted to watch it again. It's been so long since I've seen it. And I'm like, oh yeah, they took it off of Disney Plus because of the Arnie Hammer, cannibalism shit. Right. And it's like, fuck you guys, man. Like just put it like, he doesn't eat anyone. He never ate anyone and he doesn't eat anyone in the movie. But it's like, no, Disney just overreacted. So I have to find a way to watch. I have to buy a copy, of Lone Ranger to watch it again. Jordan here says John Carter is underrated AF. Hell yeah, it does, man. Who owns the rights to The Land Before Time? I think that's Fox, if I recall, or maybe Warner's. I don't quite know. But they've done so many of those movies. I don't want to see a live action Land Before. I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see a live action Land Before Time. I kind of look at like, if we're going to do like an animated updated to that, I kind of view like The Good Dinosaur as being a bit of something similar to that. And before anyone clowns on The Good Dinosaur, it's a solid Western. It's a really good Western. Okay. Like look at it from that perspective. I think you're going to get, I like The Good Dinosaur quite a bit. That I think is underrated. Nate here says John Carter was good. Hate when people clown it without watching it. Damn straight, dude. Let's see here. Rational says the Netflix movie Don't Look Up is a copy of Chicken Little. Is it? I actually didn't watch it. So I do want to watch it though. Jess says any movie that has to do with Mars fails. It does. Unless what about Mars Attacks? That one did okay, right? Although Chicken Little was a fun movie, right? I still like Chicken Little. It's so stupid, but dude, you've got Zach Braff, Steve Zahn, Joan Cusack, Patrick Stewart, Amy Sedaris, Catherine O'Hara, Fred Ward, Fred Willard. It's Fred Willard. Who else is in it? You got Patrick Warburton is in it. I mean, like Adam West is in it, has a cameo in it and whatnot. Like, it's just like Chicken Little is such a weird fucking movie, but I really, really, really enjoy it for the aesthetic of what it is. Like the 2005, that was Disney's first CG animated film, I think, right? I mean, it absolutely like looks like it, but it holds on pretty well. Same with Bolt. We watched a couple times. My daughter likes it, funny that like the biggest voice actor, cause I saw Hannah Montana too. Was like, she's Miley Cyrus, John Travolta. Right. I mean, that were like the only two big names in the movie. What about Total Recall? What did I forget? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. They got to go to Mars. That's right. And then also Ryan Hartwell here says The Martian is pretty good. The Martian is really good. The Martian is fantastic. Right. I love The Martian. I really love The Martian. I think Ridley Scott knocked it out of the park on that one, man. We don't talk about Mars Needs Moms, Garrick. That movie was a wash for Disney Animation. Holy shit. You sent, just as I sent you The Lone Ranger. Would you send it to me? Okay. On Movies Anywhere. Thank you. I might, you have it. Okay. I might be able to get to it. I don't know, but thank you. Do I remember The Wild, which was a Madagascar ripoff? Yeah, it had Eddie Izzard in it, man. Yeah, that was that. I don't know if I saw it, but what was that one Disney movie? It was about the fucking carrier pigeons in World War II or World War I. I don't recall. That was God, what was that one called? That was okay though. That had who was in that? Was Kiefer Sutherland was in that one? I forget, man. That was kind of an odd one too. Like Disney put out that kind of stuff. If I haven't seen Renaissance from 2006, I need to watch it. I know of Renaissance. I know of Renaissance. I don't think I saw it, but I know of it. I do know it. Valiant. That's what it was. Valiant. Drew. And you're right, Garrick. When it comes to The Martian, Drew Goddard's script was really good. I feel bad for Drew Goddard because he was going to direct it, and then Ridley Scott bumped him off. I mean, that's kind of happened a few times, unfortunately, but The Martian was still really good. All right, Taylor here. Oh my God. What are you doing, Taylor? All right. Hear me out. Live action, all dogs go to heaven, but the dog characters are human now. Same story, same dialogue. That's suddenly a great, R-rated gangster movie. Okay. I mean, that's definitely a take, dude. That's definitely a take. That's definitely. Oh my God. I don't even know. Zachary says, can never do a Night at the Museum sequel ever. Oh, about Robin Williams. Yeah. But they are going to do an animated Night at the Museum movie coming to Disney Plus next month. That's happening. But I enjoy the Night at the Museum movies. I think those are really good. Sean Levy did a good job. I like Ben Stiller. I'm sorry. I do. I've always liked Ben Stiller, Don Bluth hates the sequels to his works. I don't blame him. I don't blame him, man. You figure all of those fucking Land Before Time sequels. Did I like 8 Crazy Nights? You know what? Yeah. For Adam Sandler's like big animated movie, it was pretty good. I'll tell you the biggest mistake though. The biggest mistake I made was after I watched 8 Crazy Nights. I was like immediately afterward, I was flipping through cable and Punch Drunk Love was on, and I was like, oh, another Adam Sandler movie. I'll do this. I fucking couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried. I'm like, it's just, but that is such a different type of movie. I wasn't in the mind space to watch Punch Drunk Love, you know, coming off of 8 Crazy Nights. I was in the mood for Adam Sandler's, you know, like his style of comedy, not necessarily his dramatic chops, which at the time I hadn't really spent any time with. But now I love him as a dramatic actor. I really do. I love him as a comedic actor as well. I mean, Hubie Halloween was dumb as fuck, but I love the fact that it basically was like an Adam Sandler cinematic universe kind of coalesced in that film. So there's Ryan here says, I hated 8 Crazy Nights. Adam Sandler was too unlikable. I get that. Garrick asking, was Sarah Michelle Gellar hotter in Scooby-Doo or Cruel Intentions? Well, in only one of those movies she made out with Selma Blair and talked about getting it in the butt. So I'm going to go with Cruel Intentions. I'm sorry. You know, Starsky and Hutch too. Listen, don't make me regret my love of Starsky and Hutch. All right. I do. I love Todd Phillips movies, man. I would love a Starsky and Hutch sequel. I would, but I don't think it's ever going to fucking happen. I just like it when Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson work together. I think that's always fun. Let's see here. The tragedy, the little girl from All Dogs Go to Heaven and Land Before Time is so sad. I actually don't know that story, to be honest with you. I probably should. Benson here says, do you think Ben Stiller will sign for Dodgeball 2? I mean, I would hope so. Dodgeball is such an amazing comedy. It's so fucking funny and had a really good talent in there as well. But then again, Christine Taylor is no longer married to Ben Stiller, so I don't know if she would come back into it. Vince Vaughn would probably do it. Justin Long would probably do it. Alan Tudyk would probably do it. You know, could you get Chuck Norris back again? Maybe. Could we get Gary Cole and Jason Bateman to come back? I just want more ESPN 8 The Ocho, you know? What was funny is the guy who directed that is Ross and Thurber Marshall, who fucking did Red Notice. You know, and it's like, he also did We're the Millers, which is really fucking funny. So it's like, it's crazy shit, dude. It's crazy. Zoolander 3. No. Zoolander 1 is one of the funniest goddamn movies ever made. Zoolander 2 was really, really, really not. So, you know, Meet Dave 2 or Pluto Nash 2. I don't remember Meet Dave, to be honest with you, but I mean, Pluto Nash would be pretty cool. I enjoyed Pluto Nash. Wait, who got together? They are together? They got back together? Oh, I didn't know they got back together. Okay, cool. Good. I didn't know that. Good for them. I'm glad that happened. So, do a sequel to Looney Tunes Back in Action, the same vein as the new Chip and Dale. I mean, look, man. Looney Tunes. I love Looney Tunes Back in Action. But and I think it'd be really funny if it was as self-aware as Chip and Dale's, which Looney Tunes always is self-aware. But dude, Space Jam fucked that up, man. Space Jam hurt Looney Tunes for quite some time. It's just so bad. Garrick here, Kangaroo Jack 2 or Jack Frost 2? Oh, dude, Kangaroo Jack 2. Look, because here's the thing. You say Jack Frost 2, and I know you're talking about the Michael Keaton movie, okay? But I'm thinking about the fucking horror movie, all right? Like, that one, if you were to bring me back Jack Frost, a horror movie, I'd be okay with that. But Jack Frost, the Michael Keaton movie, that movie is too fucking sad at the end of that guy. I cried at the end of that movie. It was happy sad. But I enjoyed Kangaroo Jack because not only did you have Jerry O'Connell, Anthony Anderson, Christopher Walken was the bad guy. You had a complete CG kangaroo. All right. You got a little bit of Men at Work when they go to Australia, because you can never have an American go to Australia and not play the song Living in the Land Down Under. Okay. Like, there's a lot in Kangaroo Jack. Also, who was the girl in that too? I forget her name, but she was gorgeous. So. Okay, the horror one already has a sequel. That doesn't surprise me, but that's the one I want. Elf 2 or Fred Claus? Dude, Elf 2. Come on, man. Come on. Fred Claus was not great. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. No, Elf 2 is good. We already have a Kangaroo Jack 2 as an animated movie. Yeah, but not the one I want. The other guys too? No, I'm okay with that. I didn't care for the other guys that much. Space Jam 3 with R. Kelly. Oh, God. Make another brother. No, just give me, look. don't tease my dick, okay, when it comes to that kind of shit, all right? Not to say that Brother Bear was particularly good, because it was okay, all right? But when I say don't tease my dick, don't fucking make me think of Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, all right? Don't make me think of like the, of Strange Brew, all right? Like of those guys. Like don't those brothers, man. Like the McKenzie brothers. Like don't make me think of that, because I fucking love the McKenzie brothers. I love Strange Brew. I love them on Second City TV. Like they're great. Okay. But like, and I want them to get back together one more time and give us one more, Bob and Doug, adventure in some respect. I would love that. If you were to ask, like, that's really high on my list, but don't bring that up. Don't tease my dick. All right. Don't even make me think about that, 'cause I'm going to get sad. Yes, I know the story about Matt Damon and Avatar. I was telling my girlfriend that today too, actually. He turned down 10% of Avatar. Oof. Let's see, to answer your question about what Avatar is, it's about water. Yeah, Dalton, I get you. Megamind 2. No, that was okay. Not DreamWorks best, but it was all right. Let's see, go Write the Tropic Thunder 2. It doesn't need, Write the Tropic Thunder 3. It doesn't need it too. That would be pretty funny. Jess here says the Hebrew Hammer 2. Only if you get back Andy Dick. Only if you bring back Andy Dick. All right. Like the Hebrew Hammer, dude. Fuck. What the fuck is that goddamn movie? Fucking Adam Goldberg, dude. Fucking Michael Chai White. Was it like Nora Dunn's in that one? Judy Greer's in that one? That was fucking funny, dude. I watched that movie a few times on Comedy Central. It was such a weird movie. Okay. Okay. Ryan here for 5. Thank you. Says the girl from All Dogs Go to Heaven was voiced by Judith Barcy, who also voiced Ducky from Land Before Time, and her dad killed her in her sleep. Wow. That's fucking sad, dude. I didn't know that, man. That's terrible. God, I remember Ducky and everything. Jesus Christ, dude. That's fucking, oh my God. Well, that's sad. I mean, that's not your fault, Ryan, but no, that's just sad. Benson here says The Rescuers 3, this time it's personal. Dude, Zsa Zsa Gabor is gone, okay? Zsa Zsa Gabor is dead. John Candy is dead. Bob Newhart I think Bob Newhart's dead, right? Is he alive or is he dead? Okay. But like The Rescuers, okay, here's a question for you guys. What's better, Rescuers or Rescuers Down Under? It's a tough one for me. I think I enjoy Rescuers Down Under more, but I think like the idea of the Rescuers was better, but I enjoy those movies immensely. It's actually fucking like shit I used to watch when I was a kid, man. He's still kicking. Good. A new DuckTales film. You know what? I love The Legend of the Lost Lamp. I think that was a great movie. I actually, when Disney Plus first came out, I definitely watched it with my kids, but I would love it if they would actually do another DuckTales movie that finished up the DuckTales show and then also, served as a backdoor pilot or a backdoor entry, for more Darkwing. Because listen, at the end of Chip and Dale, giving us that Darkwing tease, that ain't cool, man. That ain't cool. All right. Like that ain't cool. Cause I want Darkwing Duck to come back. Give me back Darkwing Duck. Give me fucking, Tailspin, right? The straight up steampunk Tailspin was awesome. And fucking give me more gargoyles. It's like, it's not that difficult to give the goddamn fucking boomer, fucking Gen Z, Gen Xers, whatever the fuck, to give them what they want, right? Because they got the buying power right now, and they'll get their kids into it. Be all like, hey kids, have you ever heard of fucking gargoyles? Well, I'm gonna fucking show you Goliath, motherfucker. You're gonna freak kids out, dude, and kids are gonna be like, oh my God, they're gonna love gargoyles. Bring back Keith David to voice Goliath, dude. Fuck. All right. Getting Even with Dad 2 or The Good Son 2? Well, he died in The Good Son, so maybe Getting Even with Dad 2. Why not? We get more Macaulay Culkin with a mullet. Why not? A new Goofy movie? I would be okay with a new Goofy movie. The Goofy movie is actually the guy who directed Goofy movie, I think also is doing Strange World. I think he directed that. I think. But yeah, hashtag we want Darkwing 100%. Do I remember Quest for I remember Quest for Camelot. Didn't that have Jane Seymour voicing a character in that? Who was the guy? It wasn't Brad Pitt, was it? No, that was fucking that was the Son of Egypt one, right? That was that one. Prince of Egypt. Who the fuck was the guy in Quest for Camelot though? So it came out around the same time, right? Wasn't Quest for Camelot after? Because wasn't like the Prince of Egypt DreamWorks Animation's first movie? Or maybe I'm getting it backwards. Because I think I saw I think wasn't it like Mulan and Quest for Camelot came out around the same time, like 98, if I recall. Like 98 was when this came out. Because I remember going to see Quest for Camelot like one time because I worked at the movie theater that summer, and it came out. I know I saw it in a discount house. It was like a mid-afternoon thing. I forget. Garrick here asking for Daddy Daycare 3 or Norbit 2. Dude, after the abomination that was Daddy Daycare 2, coming off of the amazing Daddy Daycare, no Daddy Daycare 3, leave it alone. But Norbit 2, absolutely, man. Just for the talking dog. We do need more Gargoyles, original on Disney Plus, right? Yeah, I believe the original is on Disney Plus. I'd be okay with that. Yeah, everyone wants that. Everyone wants more Gargoyles. 80s DuckTales or 2017 DuckTales. For me, 2017 DuckTales, only because, I mean, like, look, I love the original DuckTales, I really do. But when you look at the voice cast for the 2017 show, I mean, you know, you got what? Bobby Monahan, Ben Schwartz, Abed from fucking Community, whose name I forget right now. Doctor Who, right? David Tennant. Talks Otagon. I'm mispronouncing it. She's the housekeeper. She was in The Neighbors, which is a really good show. So she's good in that. You've got who else is in that one? You've got Katie Misucci, whatever. Her, she plays, I forget, I mean, like, look, the voice, and then whoever played Magic, like, Magica Dispel was pretty good too. They had a lot of, like, it had a really, really, really good, Danny Pudi, that's who it is. That's Danny Pudi. I don't know why I spaced on that. But, like, the 2017 show is so fucking good. So fucking good. That, like, as much as I love the 80s and 90s show, right, I love it. Because that's what I grew up with. But I think the 2017 show is so fucking good that it needs to be, like, you don't fuck with, like, bring it back. Finish it up, man. Finish it up. I think, and I don't think I'm alone on that. I don't think I'm alone on that one. You know what I mean? Kate Misucci. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, right? I'm just saying, it's like we need another Fievel American Tail. Look, man, Kanye already doesn't like certain group of people. Let's not give him another reason to freak out. How about do a sequel to Gods of Egypt? Yeah. There you go. I never saw Gods of Egypt. I never did. I should check it out though. Check it out. Huey, Dewey, and Louie had personalities compared to their 80s versions. They did. They absolutely did. I really feel that they did that the 2017 show was really solid. Hot Chick 2 or Deuce Bigelow 3. Hot Chick 2, 100%. You know what? I never saw the final season of DuckTales, so maybe I just don't know. But I still want more. How about that? Liar Liar 2 or The Mask 3. Liar Liar. I mean, look, if it's Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz back for Mask 3, then give me Mask 3. Okay. Under Siege 3. I'm honestly surprised that they haven't made that. I really am surprised that they haven't made that, but they won't be able to get the the acting talents of Katherine Heigl, or maybe they could. Maybe they could. Nice Guys 2. That would be great, but it's not going to happen. That'd be great. But all right, guys, on that note, we've been talking. I said I was going to end this thing a half hour ago, and then you fuckers keep me going. All right, you guys keep me going. Because it's now almost midnight. I do got to get my ass to bed because it is still a weekday. So thank you all so much for hanging out tonight, guys. These conversations are always a lot of fun. Obviously, Lot to talk about. If you guys haven't already, please slap the like. We got 25 likes, 70, 60 guys watching at the end. We can get it to 50, I believe. But thank you guys very much for everything. I should be on tomorrow night. We'll talk more about everything going on. Have yourself a great evening, everybody. Thanks for watching Hollywood After Dark, and peace the fuck out.